One of the things that I tried doing yesterday, and I'd like to see if I can actually get working, is the UltiSnips thing. And I looked up how to skip from. There's a whole documentation on it. That's bacon. UltiSnips, right? There's the GitHub, and then extensive documentation, comprehensive documentation. I looked here, and the way you skip, I think it was Control J, right? Oops. C-J. Yeah. So it's Control J. Right now, our expand trigger is leader P. So I want to. The other thing I was going to do. So let's try this out. Alta. Yeah, there we go. So I was going to change this. So we actually created a new thing here with the year and the day separate. And then I want to see if I can skip over those things. And then that way we can put the day here and the year here. Right, will this work? And Vim RS. So if I say AOC, oops, AOC, expand, and then this has to be 2015, oh no, AOC 2015, Control J. Okay, yep, 11. All right. Oh, I guess AOC should be part of it because that needs to be the full year. Let's fix that real quick. AOC, AOC, AOC. That way I just have to type in the year. And actually I could have it so it just types in 2-digit year, right? Because I don't anticipate doing these things beyond the year 2100. So if I do that, let's try that now. So AOC, boom, 15, 12, right? We're doing 12 today. Yeah, so that sets this and this and this and this and this and this. Perfect. Okay. So that's that. Actually, that's under source control, isn't it? It is. Yeah, so I have a few changes here. Git commit. Git add UltiSnips. Oh, before I do that, I want to see, because I do create tests every so often. And Vim. Wow. I don't know why the N wasn't coming out. Does. Oh, okay, yeah. Talabit already had a test thing in here, so that's good. And then we can just create our own test this way. All right. I don't use React, so I don't need that. Bootstrap Nightmare GL setup. Wow. I don't need any of that either. And then the debug macro, import default for 0 visual. I'll have to look up what visual does. Visual placeholder. Snippets can contain a special placeholder called visual. It's expanded with the text selected just prior to expanding the snippet. Okay, so if I select, let's try that. So this one's called default. Wait, how do you select it and then type? Here's an example. Let's just start with this line of text. Position on the cursor the word should, and press the key sequence VIW that selects a word, then press tab. Type T. Oh, and then press tab again. Interesting. So let's try that. And this one's called default. Oops, that's fine. So if I have a struct foo, and now I just want to select that word like that, and then I do leader P default. Oh, look at that. Okay, so it overwrites it temporarily, but then it puts it back. Oh, and then I hit Control J and it deleted it. Interesting. So what I want to do is struct default like this. No, struct. Wow, foo. Yeah. So then I say foo, and then I do it default for foo. I see, but it leaves it selected. I got it. All right, that's neat. I'll have to remember that one too. Okay, so git add UltiSnips, git commit hm, add event of code lock. And then what do I have for here? Oh, I changed these things to do runs. And then I added these commands, yeah, like the K command and GD command. Okay, good. Yeah, let me get those in. Actually, let's take a look at the rest of the changes. Oh, last status, I changed to 2, so we can see it there. I commented out the up thing here for whatever reason. And I commented out Control F because I use Control F all the time. This looks like a Control P. Oh, I changed it to G files. Okay. Git add after init and NOLA. Git commit a few tweaks. And I should be able to push those up. Oh, okay. I guess I'll push them up later. I must have cloned it from ToggleBit, right? ToggleByte. Yeah, so I got to change that and create my own repo for it. I'll do that off stream. Okay, so what did we come here for? We came here for day 12. Let's take a look at day 12 and see what day 12 has in store for us. JS Abacus or Abacus Framework.io. Santa's accounting elves need help balancing the books. This is a very short one. They have a JSON document which contains a variety of things, arrays, objects, numbers, and strings. Your first job is to simply find all the numbers and add them together. Oh, you will not encounter any strings containing numbers. Interesting. So that means we could just simply parse these out and just grab the numbers as we find them and then just add them all together. We don't have to actually write a full JSON parser. And writing a JSON parser on stream might not be the best level of entertainment as demanded by the Twitch gods. So I think this is 30 JSON, right? Yeah, right there. 4.5 million downloads. Last updated August 21st, 2022. So that's pretty good. It's being maintained. Yeah, so should we just punt and use this? Then we got to look at the docs to see how to use it. Can we just read it from a string? So it has values. Oh, here it is. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so we have everything we need right here. We got a string. We can parse it from a string. And then we get a value. And the value is just going to be one of these guys. All right, let's just print it out for now and see what it looks like. We have these as test cases. Git status. We are clean and we are up to date. Okay, so the model is, the workflow is, we add that line there. We add, I can keep my fingers on the home row, we add that line there. And we add that line there. And then we add day 12. Right? And then we try to build and it fails. we grab this, we quit so that we have this on the command line if we need to rerun it in the future. And now we do AOC leader P. And this is 2015, control day 12. Boom. And now if I run this, oh, that was the other thing I wanted to change. This should be create output. Right? Like that. And if I run it, now we should get that. And all the tests still pass. Okay. So let's, I guess we could just write something which will just do a sum up, right? We can write a little simple function that that just adds up all the sums based on the value we get. But what we can do, I guess we start by saving the lines back string, and then in here there's just going to be lines is read to string, read lines, right? Read lines, input / 2015-12.txt. Right, and I still need to I should do it before I get too much further. Maybe after day 12, what I'll do is refactor all of these things, because I want to be able to have new separate to reading the file, so that I could just create these things and then run them separately. Because right now we're in our runner. If we take a look here, we're calling, oops, I went too far. We're calling new here, which is loading and parsing all the files. And then we decide which one we're going to run. So we don't need to do that. We can just create them with default values, and then we can do a load as a separate step and actually measure the time to do that inside one solution. We can measure load time versus, or parse time versus calculation time. But meanwhile, what was yeah, what was the test mod? Okay, remember that, test mod, like that. So now we can write a test. It was test, right? Yeah. So now can sum array should we just write it as a separate function? I guess we can, right? Fn sum JSON. And some JSON can just take in a value, right? Because that was we're going to read it in and then get a value out of it. And then that contains these things. So we could just say v-value, and it returns, there are negative numbers and there are positive numbers. Let's go with I64, and that should do the trick. And then let's just return 0 for now. Our expected value is 6 for, oh, I have to parse this. Let v equals 30 JSON, oh, which I need to import. I didn't do that yet. Cargo add 30 JSON. See how long that takes. Hopefully not too long. Okay, it's taking too long. And I think all we need to do then is, for nulls, bools, and strings, we can ignore them. We can say the sum of that is 0. For a number, it's just the number. And for array, it's going to be a vector value. So each value then we can recurse. And the same with object. Object, we could just recurse on the value. And we don't care what the name of the value is. We just care what the value of the value is. That makes sense? I think that makes sense. So we have 30 JSON. Use 30 JSON result and value. I'm just following this here. Result value. And then we just say from stir. From stir. And we can have a stir of 1, 2, 3. Was that the first one? is a sum of 6. Yeah, okay. And then this should fail because we don't have the code, sum JSON v. And this test should, oh, it's building. Yeah. There we go. It failed because expected enum value found enum result. Oh, this is a result. Let's expect. Oops. It failed to parse JSON. Let's do that. And that blows up because unused import result. Help if that's intentional. Oh, here it is. Yeah, so left 6 and right 0. All right, perfect. So we now have something that can do that. Should we just start with number? Or should we just dive right in? I think we can dive right in, right? We could say match v. If it's a value, let's take a look again. It was number. Oh, let's ignore null and value bool b underscore. That's going to sum to 0. Number is going to be a number. We can't just return the number, right? We need to do something with it. Unknown. Unknown. Was it because I forgot the comma there? Or let's just do this. N. It's not an I64, right? What type is it? Why is it unknown? Oh, is it, okay, let's put 0 here and see. Okay, that builds. Why is this coming up unknown? It knows exactly what type it is. I'm confused. Oh, do I have to rebuild? Go, or maybe just restart. Restart. Oh, there. Just restart Rust Analyzer. There should be a way to do that on. Oh yeah, K is not working. Why not? There it is. Okay. Oh, it just took a little while. Okay, so now it says number. So how do we get the number out of a number? This is an enum. Can we just click on the enum here? It should just be a number, right? As I64 is a method on that. Returns an option. So we're just going to assume it works, right? So we can just say n as I64 wrap. Right, that should build. Okay, and then what were the others? The string. There was string, which we're going to ignore. So we can just put that up here. Value string, because that's going to be nothing. Because there's not going to be, they said there's not numbers. You will not encounter any strings containing numbers. So we don't have to parse out numbers or anything. But that wouldn't have been a problem, right? And then array is going to be a vector of values. So value array of A is going to be, all we need to do is for each entry in A, call some JSON on the value. So that would be array iter, and then map entry, right? And some JSON on the entry. I think it's already a reference, right? Yeah, it's already a reference, and then we just sum that up. Right, because this returns I64s, and we just add up all the I64s, and that gives us our array, right? 4 warnings. And actually, now that we have this, we should be able to do this array. So I should be able to run the test. We're getting 2 warnings, so it's not running the test. We're not using result. Okay, fair enough. And we can always add that back in if we need it. And then line 6, we're not actually using lines. So I'm going to underscore that and underscore that just so the tests run. All right, so all the tests pass. We would have gotten some error message if they didn't, but we could always page down and see that 35 passed and 0 failed. So, okay, so we're able actually to sum that up as 6. So we should be able to now test the object version of that, right? So if I copy this, test. Oh, I got a tab over. Okay. There. Test. Can sum object. I should add blank lines around the test, right? So the expected value is 6 again, and the actual value is going to be copy, paste. And now this has quotes and stuff in it. So what was the Rust syntax for strings? It was like hashtags or something, right? String literals, indexing, concatenation, Rust, hardcore mode, string. String literal. Oh, not here. It was some hashtag thing, right? It was like this. Oh, did it start with R? Yeah, okay, there we go. And that way I don't have to escape all the quotes. And then actual is going to be just some J. And this should fail. Because I didn't write the object thing yet. We do have one fail. We're expecting 6 and we got 0. Very good. Let's go back here. Let's go back here. And now all we have to do is write the object version of this same thing. Value object O. And this is a map. So we want to map, we want to get the values from the map. And those are going to be values. The values are values. And then we're going to map entry. And it's just the same thing, right? Some JSON entry. So I believe. Yeah, and it says pass. So that works. We can test these guys too, but I think it's all going to work. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. Oops. Let's do this, do this, do this, test, boom. Yeah. Nested array. So we can grab this and look for the hashtag. Oops. This. The expected value is 3. Some JSON B. And let's see if that passes. And it does. Okay. And then, oh, should we just check empty arrays just to empty array? Just to make sure that I didn't mess anything up there. 0 some JSON B, and then just change this to empty square brackets, should sum to 0. And test passes. Okay, perfect. So I think we're ready just to run it, right? Let's change these lines here. Change these lines here, and then all we need to do for part 1 is for L in self lines. For each line, we're gonna, or is it, what does the puzzle input look like? I didn't even save it. It's just a single string. All right, so 2015 12.text. Input, git add input, git commit m 2015 day 12 input. All right, And so it's just a single line. All we have to do is return the sum, right? We can just say let JSON equals serde JSON from stir. And it's just single line. If that's true, you know what? Here's what we can do is we can just say here, self lines len. Right? And we can run that. And then that'll show us that, yeah, so it's just a single line. So all we need to do is say let JSON is equal to serde JSON from stir self lines of 0. Hopefully that'll convert to a string. Expect corrupted input file. And then we just need to say some JSON. And that fails. Expected stir found. Can I do that? Yes. Run. All right, so we have a number. It should be right. I mean, we ran all the tests, so let's find out. Let's get rid of that and submit. And that's the right answer. Okay, so that's day 12, part 1. That wasn't too bad. I mean, it's just 4 lines of code, right? But we wrote a bunch of tests to make sure it worked. Git status, git add, cargo, source, git commit, 2015, day 12, part 1. All right. What could possibly be next? Uh-oh, the accounting elves have realized that they double counted everything red. Ignore any object and all of its children which has any property with the value red. Do this only for objects and not arrays. Okay. 1, 2, 3 still has a sum of 6. This now has a sum of 4 because the middle object in here is ignored. So we still add the 1 and the 3, but because this object has red in it, it's ignored. This whole thing is ignored, right? Because there's a red here. And this is just 1 red 5, which means it has a sum of 6 because red is an array. Red in an array has no effect. How do we want to work this? Obviously our sum JSON has to change, or we can just write a separate one. Let's write a separate one. Red less. Okay, so null and bool still go to 0, but a string, if we see a string of red, we want that to be 0. Oh, but we still need to bubble up any reds that are So we'd be able so one thing we could do, right? This just as a crazy idea that just might work, is make this an option. This is sum 0. But now with the string, we're going to say if the string is red, we return none, else we return sum 0. Right, and then this still does this. That doesn't change. The array doesn't change. Right, because we're still gonna oh, except some JSON might be a none value. In which case we want to say 0. So we say unwrap or 0. And in here, this is the thing that gets complicated. Because we still want to go through all the values in there, but now we need to be able to split it up. It's not split it up. We need to be able to see, is there anything that's red or anything that's a none? Yeah, anything that's a none, because the string is going to take care of the none case for us. Right? If the value is red, which any property with the value red, so we only care about the values, and that's what the string is. Okay. So now we can map all of these into sums and nones. Oh, it's not some JSON. This should be some redless. That would have been a bad bug. Or it wouldn't have compiled because this doesn't return an option. So Russ would have saved me on that one. All right, so how do we do this? Instead of doing a sum here, we're now going to collect a vec of options. What type is that? Unknown. So I should give it a type. Let's see if this even builds. It doesn't. Oh, I forgot a comma here, and yeah. And now n. Oh, this has to be a sum, right? That makes sense. And this whole thing has to be a sum. Okay, and now we're down to here. Okay, so now, does this give us the type? It does not. Mismatched types, yes. But what type? Why don't I have a type on this? Let equals v. What does this tell me? Okay, let me just put none here for now so it stops complaining. Ah, okay, there we go. Value, can't collect value of type from iterator is not implemented for this. But this, some redless is an option, right? Yeah, option of U64. Can't we collect those into an array? Can I do that? Vec option I64. Lil Babs, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. Welcome to the stream. Something's wrong? What's wrong here? Values, map, collect. That all makes sense. Wasn't expecting that. I was expecting type parameters. Third. Oh, yeah, that's right. I have 3 opens and 2 closes. Okay. Yeah, okay, so now it has the right type. It has the right type now. But if I don't put the type, it can't figure it out. Oh. Yeah, it can't figure it out. For whatever reason, even though the map is mapping it to that type. Okay, so we have now a collection of options, and if any one of these is none, that means we had a string whose value was red. If everything is okay, Londo Spark, hi. Oh, Zev. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your whole name. Zev, maybe I just say Zev if you don't object to that. Collect needs an output type. Yeah, I'm surprised because this has a definite type, right? Some redless is only returning option I64. So I was hoping that Rust could infer the type to collect based on that. Zev says, don't worry, use 320. Okay, I will use 320. Thank you. And 320 says you can collect into multiple containers. That is true. I could partition based on whether or not it's a sum. So I could do a partition here, right? Option is sum, something like that. And then I can have like an A and a B here. Cannot infer type. Well, that's a shame. I guess we're going to have to force the type then. Oh, I think we just need to do it this way, though. This partition stuff is slowly coming back to me. Yeah, okay, so now A is a vec of option I64s, and B is a vec of option I64s. Yeah. 320 says it can't figure out that it's supposed to be a vec. I got it. So now we have an A and a B. The A's are going to be all the sums, and the B's are going to be all the nones. So if B is empty, let's just name them that way: sums and nones. And if nones is empty, that means all the sums have a value, and we can just sum them up. So we want to return the value of all of them. So sum of the sums. I can iterate on those and then map those to X unwrap. Let's use value. So if we have nones is empty, right, that's what we're going to do. We're going to sum up all of the entries in the sums, entry, and we have to extract it. Since they're sums, we have to say entry unwrap and then sum that. Right? If the nones is not empty, that means there was a none in our, somewhere in our children from the string. And so we're going to return a none back. Oh no, this is just our children. That's all we care about. So we just want to return a 0. This is going to sum to 0. And that should take care of that case. It checks. Let's add some tests here. So let's write a test, and we're going to write a test of redless array. We're just going to grab this, same one. I guess I put extra spaces in there, it doesn't matter. And then we're going to say our expected value is still 6, and then we can say sum redless v. All right, does that pass? We get an error. What's the error? Oh, because it's an option. Okay, yeah, so on that. And now it passes. Okay. And then we want to test this one. This is the key one, right? Because this one actually has a red in there. Red less object. And we'll copy. No, we'll copy this guy because it already has the there, and we do that. Oh, I forgot the quote. There we go. And this is a sum of 4. Sum red less v unwrap. Test passes. That's good. So that means whatever we did was right. This needs to sum to 0. So let's see if that works. Red less object 0. We'll copy this line. And we just paste that. And then this sums to 0. And sum red less v unwrap. And it passes. Okay, that's good news. Should we do this one too, since we're here? Might as well. We did redless, yeah, we have redless array. What should we call this one? Array with red. So we do that. Come on. TF hash. There we go. And then this sums to 6 because red has no effect. Sorry, red has no effect. Sum red less v unwrap. And that passes. Okay, so now we want to get rid of the warning by writing part 2, which is just going to be the same thing. I guess we should do this up here, right? Value. value. And then this is just going to be serde JSON from stir, read lines of 0. Self value. And this becomes some redless self value. Let's see if that works. Nope. Mismatch types. Expected value. Oh, got result. Yeah. Expect corrupted input file. Right? There we go. And this doesn't work because it's an option. Here. Okay. And run. 65402. Let's see if that's even close to being right. It is. It's very close to being right. Okay, perfect. So it wasn't too bad, right? It's a little wonky to get it. So here's where we check for red. If we have a red, the object becomes 0. And then if there is no red, then we just sum up what we got. Okay, straightforward. Git commit -am 2015 day 12 part 2. Okay.